Okay, it's that time. Obviously, we promise you every week we're going to bring you inspiring, motivating, and empowering content to take your life to the next level. So welcome to Gen Invest. And this is where we talk about money, man. Got to get your money right. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, for anyone who's new to this, there are a couple of things that we talk about when we talk about money on our podcast. One was how to manage your money, 2, how to earn more money, and 3, how to invest your money. But listen, we had a most amazing meeting this morning, and we're going to add 2 more elements to that. One is how you get the mindset behind money, okay? Because money starts in the mind. Do you believe that, Mo?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so money starts in the mind. But then the 5th element we're going to add is how you invest for generational wealth. How do you make generational wealth? Now, exciting, before we get into the podcast, we're going to be doing a workshop at the end of October. Okay, a free taster session, 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours free. And we're going to go over all 5 points. And then we're going to be releasing a 6-month program, how you can get your financial breakthrough. So I am super excited. And if you saw the video with Sue Clark, the lady who's making $2,800 a month and 4 hours work, you heard me right, 4 hours work. She's going to be joining. Super serial entrepreneur, Mr. David Hall, will also be on the show as well. But for today, I brought on my main man, Mr. Mo. I can never remember your surname, brother.
Just call me Money.
Just call me Money Mo, baby. Oh, here we go. Oh, hold on.
Go on, put the sound.
Gotta do the sound. Okay. He dropped the bomb right there. Money Mo, my friend.
Mo Al Hakim for anyone that can't find you.
I love that. Now, obviously, Mo is a part of my power team. And the reason I wanted to bring him in, like, listen, if you're gonna make money, you have to have a power team. Okay, and people say that you tend to be reflect your circle. Now, if your circle is broke, then unfortunately you're going to be broke. It's just a fact of life. So I try to get around people who are thinking and doing big things, and people who can help me to do big things. And Mo is a part of my power team. We've been working together now for how long?
It's about a year now.
Yeah, about a year, something like that. Yeah. Now, what Mo does, he helps you to raise finance. Okay. And if you're going to be successful in making money, you have to learn how to raise finance or make money. And you help me to raise finance. Okay. Leveraging other people's money, really, isn't it? Awesome. So tell them what you do. What do you do?
So I'm a property investor myself. Yeah. So I've got a few buy-to-lets. At the minute, mainly single-let properties, because I am focusing on full-time running my own business as an independent mortgage broker.
Yeah.
So we look at all aspects of property-related finance, whether it's sort of buy-to-let, HMO, serviced accommodation you're looking at, or even if you're doing land developments, commercial finance, or even if you live abroad and looking to get some offshore
check
money.
it out. Okay, all right. That's for the real money people. If you're making P, you go offshore.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So for those of us who are looking to go offshore, you also go into things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. What's the business for anyone who is looking for a mortgage broker? Tell them the name of the business.
Richmond Premier. You can probably find me or find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or
things like that. So we'll make sure we put all your details for you. Now, the great thing is I always like to talk about things that we're actually doing. Now, 2 weeks ago, Mo helped a couple that we worked with who've never invested in property before, D and I, get their first property. So they bought their first property, cash flowing crazy cash. Do you know what I mean? I think they'll be making like £400 a month. Now, imagine these people had their money in Barclays, I think they talked about.
Actually, for so many years, didn't even ever think about investing it.
Yeah. So they were getting like 2% interest rates. Now we're getting them 22%, between 20 and 22% return on investment on their money. So they're investors. You're helping another first-time buyer.
Yeah.
I won't mention, a young lady. I think she's only, Lady D. We'll call her Lady D. All right. How old is she now? She's like 26, 27?
Yeah, about 26.
26, 27.
First-time buyer, literally living in her family's house her whole life.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Perfect.
Possible.
She's about to buy her first investment property. Now, just on that, little note. The one thing I say to people, if you're living at home, do not look to buy your first property as a residential. I always say to people, stay at home as long as you can. okay, and buy your first property. Let that be an investment property. And this is what one of the clients that we're coaching is about to do. So 26, you'll have a first buy to let, which is awesome. Also, only a couple of weeks ago, another guys that I coach just bought a property up north, 55,000. Okay, so young couple, footballer, just bought his first property up north in around Liverpool way, 55,000. He's making 22% return on investment. His investment is actually better than some of my investments, which is shocking. Yeah. Okay, so the reason I wanted to bring Mo in is to really explain to obviously our listeners how you get in, especially if you're a first-time buyer, you know, how you get into that. But Mo, first question, is it the right time to buy right now? Is it the right time? With Brexit, you got a crazy politician with crazy hair, all right? Is this the right time to be investing in the UK?
Look, there's always a right time to invest.
Yeah.
And if anything, during times of uncertainty, that's when you can get the best opportunities.
Whoa. Stop, wait. Say that again. I gotta say, sorry. I don't know if
I didn't mean to scare you.
Sorry. The listeners need to get this, right? This is something that most listeners don't get, right? So say that line again.
The best, if you see the richest people make the most money during times of uncertainty.
Right, okay, break that down for us.
The reason is, just to simplify it on a property aspect of things, if people are not selling their properties, you're in a much stronger position to negotiate as a buyer.
100%.
So therefore, you're going to get the best deals.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in a market where everyone's buying the same properties, you're not going to get the best deals.
There's no negotiations.
So if anything, you know, you're in the power seat right now, and you can get the best opportunities if you invest during times of uncertainty.
It's crazy, you know, like we were talking, and we believe for the next 3 years, the market's probably going to be stagnant, which means that a lot of people are not going to be talking about investing in properties, maybe more weary. This is the time you want to be buying. Yeah. You know, so whenever you see the masses do something, do exactly the opposite. Exactly. So that's what you're saying on that.
The thing with property as well is that it's not just about capital appreciation. It's not like you're buying a stock where, you know, you're buying it and you're waiting for it to increase or it might decrease. Yeah. With property, whatever happens, your property's cash flowing for you. It's working for you either way.
Hold on, what's that word? I love that word. The property's doing what?
Cash flowing.
It's cash flowing. All right, what does that, break that down for anyone who's listening, that when you say cash flowing, what does that mean?
Basically, you're renting it out.
Yeah.
You're paying a certain amount of mortgage for it. You're plus expenses, etc. You're renting it out for a certain amount, and therefore you're making profit from the difference.
That's what it's about.
Even if it stays the same value for the next 5 years, it's still making you, like you said, for example, with the lady earlier. You know, they're cash flowing what, £400 a month. Yeah. You know, their salary was about 15k.
50. Okay.
From one property, they're cash flowing £400 a month.
Okay, listen to what the guy just said. Okay, one of my clients is earning $15,000 a year. We found them a deal that will cash flow after expenses £400 a month. Okay, so 1/3 of their salary in one property.
Basically, yeah.
So all they need is 3 of those, and they're financially free.
Exactly.
Smashing it. Absolutely smashing it. So cash flow is king. On that. So it is the right time to buy.
Absolutely.
I think this is probably one of the best times coming up, and things are only going to get worse. So for a lot of our listeners though, is that maybe you haven't been prepared for this to buy in this season. Okay, so you haven't got your savings right, and we're going to go into all of those things. But understand this, is that the market goes high and it goes low, which basically means that, you know, I think, was it 2007? We had the big crash, 2008, something like that. If you've been preparing and saving your money, you'd be ready for the next crash. And I always say this to people, like most of the people that we know like to buy things like, you know, I know my cameraman, as he's walking around, I'm looking at all his clothes. Okay, he likes to find a deal, so he will shop around for the best deal, right? You know, I know, you know, my parents, my mom will shop like at 5 different stores to get you know, a rack of lamb. I'm like, who's doing that? Right? What I don't like, just give me a rack of lamb. I'm gonna say maybe £2, £3, but she'll shop around to find the best deals. This market right now is when everything is going on wholesale. As the market gets worse and people are not buying, you'll be able to get better deals. So be prepared for when the market goes to the wholesale, and that usually happens every 7 to 8 years, something like that. So get ready for it.
That's true. And just to add to that point, in property in general,
Yeah.
even if it is going to go down, it will eventually go up. I mean, if you look at, for example, the forecast for the last 70 years, you know, it's kind of like up, down, but at the end of the day, the trend goes up eventually.
Yeah.
So as long as, you know, the strategy's right and the strategy's aligned to what your strategy is and what you're looking to achieve from investing, then yeah, do it.
Perfect. And this goes out to anyone. So people will ask me the question as well. Denzel, do you day trade? Denzel, have you got Bitcoins? You know, because everyone's on Bitcoin now and this coin and this currency. And I said, look, I ain't got a clue. I haven't got a clue about, I don't know about nothing about day trading. I don't know nothing about Bitcoin. I don't know nothing about, what I do know, okay, is property always goes up in value. What I do know is that we all need a house to live. I can't tell you in 10 years if we're going to be using Bitcoin.
And another thing, you know, is that we live in an island and this more and more people are coming to this country and therefore there's less properties out there.
100%. So look, just for anybody, I'm not disrespecting anyone who's day trading and stuff like that. For me, that feels like gambling. You know, there's no real science, you know, it's a hard science behind it. I'm not knocking it. So if you're doing it and you're being super successful, knock yourself out. But I think for a lot of people, you can't get into day trading. You know, I don't think people really have the gift set to be able to do that. And I know it's but anyone can do properties. Anybody. It's a simple science. So that's why I'm a big advocate for that. Yes, do shares, and I believe in doing shares, but long-term investing, not short-term investing. So that was just a little plug for me there, just, you know, getting something off my chest. So if anybody wants to get into investing, okay, they've never bought a property before, what's some of the things that they need to know? So if they want to be able to raise money from the banks, use leverage debt, and I should say this, a lot of people will say to me about debt is bad, no, there is good debt and there's bad debt. And what you're going to talk about now is good debt. So how do we raise good debt from the banks to be able to buy capital and investments?
I think the first thing is make sure you can get the finances.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's different ways you can raise debt. You know, it could be from a bank, but it can also be from somebody you know.
Yeah.
You know, you can potentially borrow money and use it to invest, as for example, in the case of a deposit.
Yeah.
So in terms of raising finances, I think the first thing you should do is speak to a broker, speak to somebody that's investing and make sure that you can even get the finances.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people make the mistake of trying to find the deals before they even know whether they can even get this deal if they actually get the offer accepted.
Oh, okay. So the bank obviously has a criteria for people,
of course,
to lend to. What's one of the common criteria? So for anyone listening to this and they're like, I'd really like to get into properties, but what's one of, like, I know from a salary, there tends to be a criteria from a salary standpoint. Do you want to tell people what that is?
If you're a first-time buyer,
yeah,
and you're looking to purchase a buy-to-let property,
yeah,
the banks would want to make sure that you can afford that property based on your income,
yeah,
not just rental income.
Oh, okay.
If, for example, you own a residential property, they don't care about your income anymore.
Right.
All they care about is whether the rental income can cover the cost of the mortgage, essentially.
Yeah.
So if you're a first-time buyer, this is completely new to property, you've never owned a property before, I would always say speak to someone to make sure and also to understand what is the maximum you can get.
Yeah.
Because once you understand that, then you can begin to identify where to find the deals and essentially align a strategy that suits you.
Here's a question then. I had a client come into my office only this week.
Yeah.
And, you know, she was like, oh my gosh, I've had debts and stuff like that. Can I still get into property? You know, and I said, look, everything is possible. That's the one thing I'd say to somebody. You know, everything is possible, but speak to a broker. So you may have had bad debts in the past. Yeah. That doesn't stop you from becoming an investor, because I think you hit the nail on the head when you said the banks in the main are looking to see if the property covers the debt.
Yeah.
Not if you'll cover the debt. But in the first instance, they may do that. But as you build your portfolio, it's very much about the portfolio paying for itself.
That's right.
Yeah. So what tends to be the salary criteria that most people want to get to?
In what circumstance?
When they first start, because I know that
first-time buyer,
complete
first-time buyer, first-time landlord.
Yeah.
It depends what you're looking to get, really. So you can get, we did one recently.
Yeah.
She was on 19K.
Okay, so you can get into this on 19 grand.
I'm not even using that as a minimum benchmark. You can get even with potentially 15K, 10K.
Yeah.
It just depends really how much deposit you're willing to put in and what the mortgage amount is.
Right, so there's two things here. There's two things. Because people always think, I don't have enough money to get started, man. I don't earn enough. You've just said it doesn't matter what you're earning, all right? Second, you said something which I thought was incredible, that you can, I know I borrowed money for deposits to buy properties.
Yeah.
So I haven't saved up for that. I've, done joint ventures and things like that. So actually to get started tomorrow, okay, the people that are in this audience, we've got some people in the room right now, okay, could actually start buying properties tomorrow if they wanted.
Yeah.
Pressure. Oh, I don't know if they're gonna do it though. Okay, no, we just had to put that out there. But for anyone listening to this, right, you could start tomorrow based on that. So basically what you're saying is that all the barriers are down, that it's, it's there for the right person. So we talked about getting into it. Are there any barriers actually? Because I've just said the barriers are down, but are there some barriers of getting into property investing?
Of course, there are certain barriers that might affect you in terms of which lenders you can approach.
Yeah.
Because if you're a whole of market broker, what that basically means is you work with all the lenders.
Right.
But I always personally think that there's always a lender for everyone.
Yeah.
But it just might mean that this lender might have slightly higher rates, or their terms might be a little bit different to other sort of maybe household name lenders.
Right. Okay.
In terms of barriers, it really is on a case-by-case basis, because you got to fully understand someone's circumstance to be able to paint a picture in terms of who are the lenders we can potentially approach that are going to be suitable for them.
And this is great, like the people that we've been dealing with personally. We've had someone who's a plasterer.
Yeah.
We had someone who's just does security. We've had someone who's a physiotherapist.
Yeah.
People who own their own practices. Like the range of people that we're dealing with is so diverse now who are getting into properties. So the reason I always say this is because I want to encourage everybody to be like, this could be me. We had a lady come into my office and I was showing her how we can get from being in debt today and in 10 years having a portfolio that's giving her $2,700 a month. Her face, I'm telling you, she looked like she had won the lottery. You know what I mean? I think she wanted to date me at that point. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, do you know what I mean? But
He's single, by the way.
I'm single, by the way. I'm single, by the way. Boom, okay. No, I'm only joking. This is not that kind of show.
Are the DMs coming in already?
Oh, look at it. It's blowing up right now. Okay, I'm blowing up. Right, but no, we help people with money, not with love. Okay, that's a different type of show. All right. But honestly,
come back at 12 o'clock for that show.
It's it. Tune in and you'll get the quiet storm. But no, but on a serious note, is that we're having way too much fun when we talk about money. But one of the reasons that I wanted to bring this show out as well, I want to show people that you don't have to be like white collar, serious guy, do you know what I mean, to get into this. This is for everybody. And making money should be fun. Do you know what I mean? Like making money shouldn't be this super serious thing. And I think that's why so many people get turned off from it. So we talked about how you get in there. There's no barriers and things to get into that market. Is it? Oh, let me just check my question to make sure. You got me off thought now. Now I'm talking about dating. I'm like,
he's just thinking.
Right.
It's the DMs, guys.
Yeah,
you're not
going on. So how do you evaluate a good deal? So let's say, for instance, someone comes to you and they say, Money Mo, okay, I've got this property. How would you determine what is a good deal? What is a good investment? What's a bad investment? Because there's so many things happening at the moment.
I think it depends what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
If for example, you're just looking for cash flow, then you want a deal that's going to get you a certain amount of cash flow that's going to help you.
Yeah.
Somebody might require £10,000 a month to survive. Yeah. Some people might require £1,000 a month.
Let me ask the question.
Let's
put it out there. Whilst we've got people in the studio, we won't call out your names. How much would you like to earn per month? 500, 1,000, 2,000? 3,000. Okay, she's female, so 5,000. She wants a Louis bag. 6,000. The numbers keep going. So how much would it take? Okay, so about 4,000. Okay, next person. 6K. Next person. 5K. Next person. 3. That's it, right? So the thing is, those numbers, based on the type of deals that you're seeing in cash flow, are all of those things achievable?
They're achievable with the right kind of deal and how you leverage your money. That's the most important thing. You know, if you're just gonna get, 200 grand and put it all in one property and buy the property in cash, you're not going to be able to achieve that.
Right.
However, if you're leveraging the money in the right way, that 200 grand can become 10 properties.
Yeah.
And each one bringing you a certain amount of cash flow.
Oh man, I'm loving this. As you can tell in the studio, we now have sound effects, and you're gonna be getting a lot of this every week. So prepare yourself. All right, but no, you just hit a major point. A major point on this is that we had an investor, and he was buying 2 properties, and the value for the 2 properties was 100,000 for the 2 properties.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll buy cash. I was like, no, please don't buy cash. Please use debt. Because the return
that's
on
where
investment,
good debt comes in, what we were talking about earlier.
100%. So people who are like, I just want to pay it all off and not use any form of debt, you're not going to get the same returns of investment.
Yeah.
So you're saying, don't, if you're looking to buy a house, even if it was 50,000 for some of the properties that we're finding up north, you wouldn't advise to pay cash for that, but actually leverage debt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In the most ideal scenario, you want deals where you leave no money in.
Yeah.
I know there's this whole thing where no money down, and I don't personally think that it truly exists.
I don't really.
But I do believe in no money in.
Left
in, I guess, if you call it that.
Yeah.
Where you purchase the property, you might add value to the property, remortgage that property, and basically pull out all the money and the cost that you put into it and start again.
100%. And that's possible.
That's definitely possible. As long as you just find the right deals, do your due diligence, find the right mortgages, and find the right lenders and money, and it's definitely possible.
Love that. So one of the things, if you're thinking, well, how much do I need to get started? Even if you had like 15, 17,000, once again, you don't have to necessarily. I'm gonna bring out a video very soon how I bought a property with no money. I bought it for 80,000. I've had it for a couple of years now, and we're about to sell it for about 140. But I used none of my own money to do that. I actually didn't have any money.
How did you do that then?
Well, wouldn't you like to know, brother? That's it. Right, no, I actually did it, and I'm not condoning definitely the way that I did this. This was probably, a while back, but I had joint ventures, so I was going to lend some money from a family member, and I was going to give them a return back, a percentage back that was higher than the money they're getting in the bank. So let's say, for instance, they were getting 3% in the bank. I was offering them 10%. So they was going to lend me the deposit. Now, in the 12th hour, they pulled out. So I had to raise that initial money, and I'm not going to condone this, but this is what I did. I bought it actually with my credit card, okay? Did the work on it, refinanced it, and paid off the credit card within 6 months. So I bought that house with no money. No money, did the works, no money.
Yeah.
Now,
I guess none of your own money, isn't it?
None of my own money.
Yeah.
So other people's money. So I'm saying I bought that house. That house will now make me, okay, we've got to do some work on it. With the cash flow that I've had over the years, it's probably made me about £60,000.
Wow.
Do you see what I mean?
It's amazing.
That's the reality. That can happen today. So leveraging debt is a key thing. So if we were to obviously close this down, and you've been awesome, by the way, and Mo's going to be coming on every once a month, okay, just to ask questions around property investment, what's going on in the market, and market news. But if there was any one thing that you would leave as advice for any potential new investors and things like that, or investors in general, actually, here's a question that just sprang to mind, because we were somewhere on Tuesday together, right? And we were talking about commercial. Like, one of the places that I want to move into, I want to move away from normal residential and move into commercial. I think that's so do you also do commercial lending and stuff like that?
Absolutely. We're on the panel for all the commercial lenders, which actually isn't a very easy thing to do. But we've been able to establish really good relationships with these lenders, and they trust us to get good clients for them.
Awesome. So anybody who may be watching this who's more of a seasoned investor, let's say that you got 5 buy-to-let properties, 6, you think, I don't really want to do this anymore. We were sitting on a course, and I'm telling you, like, I'm definitely going to go down the route of
I think
commercial
it's important
investment.
to like have a portfolio of mixed residential and commercial.
And commercial in there.
So that it's not just one thing.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it. Really.
Love that. So one of the key things, obviously, as we're saying, is diversify your portfolio. But is there one thing that you want to leave the listeners out there who may be listening to this podcast or watching this?
If we're aiming this talk, I guess, to first-time buyers, is first things first, whether you speak to a broker or anyone like that, just make sure and understand what you can actually get in terms of finance.
Yeah.
Because I see this happening a lot where people come to me once they've got the deal and they've done all the effort and they've done all the hard work. They've found the deal, because you find deals all the time for your clients.
I do.
It's not
let's
an easy,
promote that. I find deals for my clients.
But he works a lot. I've been working with Denzel for about a year. He's around up and down the country, literally in sometimes dumps.
They are. They're not always the nice
all sorts
places.
of stuff. It's a lot of hard work to find a good deal. The last thing you want to do is find that deal and then later on realize, I can't even afford it.
Yeah.
Because one reason or another, I can't get this certain amount of finances. Of course, there's always a way around it. If you find a joint venture maybe or whatever, but you don't want to be in a position where you got to make a quick move and you can't. So you want to be prepared for that. So
have that initial conversation with you then.
Exactly.
It doesn't cost you anything, right?
It doesn't cost you anything.
So I would be saying to anyone watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, like, action number 1, sit down with someone and say, like, what could I do with my situation right now?
Yeah, exactly.
What is possible?
And we'll guide you to, this is what you can potentially get based on your salary or based on the rental or based on your circumstance. Or we might guide you, actually, maybe you need to find a joint venture partner because, maybe in your situation it's not possible. Yeah. And then we can sort of help you to achieve that. And I think that's why it's important as well to speak to a broker that's also an investor, because we kind of I do it for myself. Yeah. So I kind of do it day in, day out. And that's why, rather than just... So someone that can basically work around your strategy as well.
And I think that's important as well. That that's a note I didn't actually have down here. How do you pick a good broker? Okay. Point number 1, are they investing themselves? I know loads of people who are like, we can do mortgages, but they've never invested in a property themselves. So actually, you don't really understand what I'm going through or what I need.
It's like everything, if you're going to get a personal trainer, you want someone that's going to have a nice body. They might know how to train you, but you want to see that they achieved that result. Yeah. You don't want someone with,
100%.
breast and a belly. There's no point. You're going to be like, what the hell's going on? Yeah. So in terms of choosing the right broker, I would say, firstly, make sure you get on with them, because you're going to talk to them a lot.
And we talk about some private stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know quite a bit about it.
So you want to make sure you trust them and you can get on with them. Yeah. Because there's going to be a lot of backwards and forwards, a lot of questions, so on. So you kind of need to be prepared for that. So get on with them. Make sure they're a whole of market broker. Yeah. Make sure ideally directly authorized as well.
What does that mean?
Directly authorized means that they are essentially not subjected to a specific network. Sometimes you get certain networks that would only be able to work with, say, 20 lenders. Yeah. And therefore they try, you're going to get essentially pushed to these lenders or else they can't do the mortgage for you. I get it. Yeah. Whereas if you're a whole of market and you're directly authorized, like us, we work with all the lenders. So we're going to find the lender that best fits your circumstance and situation at that point. Yeah. And I see this as well happening a lot, where people are so fixated on rates, and sometimes that's not the most important thing. It's about,
does the deal stack up?
Which lender is best for your circumstance. Yeah.
And that's why you go to a broker for.
And that's why you go to a broker, because sometimes you might go to a lender that has slightly cheaper rates, but in the long run they might end up being worse off for you. Yeah. So you want to make sure what's the best suitable lender for your circumstance in all aspects of it.
Well, I can highly recommend Mo, and I say that genuinely, because not only, he's worked and I put clients his way, okay, that I'm working with. These clients are important to me. So I actually put these clients, because I trust him to get the best deals for them. So the one thing I would say, if you're listening to this, go and speak to a broker. Like, don't wait until everything's perfect, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Go and speak to a broker tomorrow, today, whenever it may be, and then see what it takes for you to get onto the property ladder. Because the longer you leave it, is the longer you're delaying your financial freedom or your financial wealth. So Mo, I'm gonna say thank you. You are the man. And obviously, for anyone listening to this, Mo will be here like once a month. We'll be doing this. And we're going to be talking about more our mindset as well. So not just the investment part, but also we're going to be talking about how you can actually earn more money. So there's a lot more to come. There is a free downloadable book from the website as well. And that'll be details will be obviously on the website and underneath this podcast. So you'll be able to download the free financial freedom booklet. That's free. That's all the things that I apply to my own life. That's got me to the position where I am today. But also look out for the free taster course that will be coming in October, and we're going to be doing that with a good friend of mine, Sue Clark, who's on the podcast, who's doing phenomenally well in properties and also running a business, and another good friend of mine, David Hall, who's a serial entrepreneur. So thank you very much. Thanks for listening. Make sure you tune in and you subscribe, you like, you comment, and we're all here to do what? All right. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, and we will see you soon. All right. Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.